Secretary Galvez, thank you for making time po for the Manila Times.
Thank you also for taking this opportunity for me to have our concern. And also, first of all, I would like to thank Manila Times for really providing us the tribute to the soldiers.
Apo.
Maraming salamat.
Yes, I would like to ask you about that later. But siguro po, just to begin with, there's a lot of things changing po in our military. First po siguro this shift of policy from internal focus to national or border control. Can you talk about that, sir? Parang, what does that mean for the military? Does it how does it change your operations? Does it change your requirements? Maybe broadly speaking, po, what does that mean?
Yes, recently the President visited many of our camps, and also last month we have AP, PNP joint DILG conference, and during the briefing he saw the development, meaning he saw that the Armed Forces of the Philippines and PNP were able to dismantle 79 guerrilla fronts. So we are only have 5 remaining guerrilla fronts.
Okay.
And he said that I think we need to shift our focus now, considering that we are treading in a very complicated waters.
Apo.
We need to change our focus from internal to external defense. But doesn't mean that we will relegate our responsibility on counterinsurgency to the PNP, but we will still hold some of our forces as territorial forces to really stabilize the situations in the country. And he also make a policy statement that as soldiers, you should be peacemakers. So sinabi niya na instead of really bringing, we are war fighters, we know that many soldiers were trained to fight, but right now, it is better for our soldiers to bring forth peace by bringing the combatants to the folds of the law. Because during our briefing also, he was able to learn that more or less 29,000 CPP and PS have already surrendered, and he knows very much that our peace process is doing a lot of better results, considering that nakikita natin na we were able to prevent since Marawi, we were able to prevent tinatawag nating major conflict in Mindanao, and we saw that the atrocities committed by the CPP and PS has subsided already. So with that knowledge, and with the complications that we have on the West Philippine Sea, and also on treading the course of the geopolitics that are really happening right now, he gave very straight guidance for us that we need to shift our focus on the territorial defense. That's why I gave orders to the Board of Generals and also the AP chain of command to follow the directive of the president, which is we have to shift some of our forces to guard our seas and our air, and also to defend all our islands.
So does that mean there will be a redeployment to move people to the new priority areas? And how will you work now with the PNP in shifting to territorial defense from internal security?
There's still that mission, the core mission that we have, that we will really still support the Philippine National Police in our peace and order effort, similar to what happened to the Digamo case, that we provided intelligence and also some military support in order to stabilize the situation.
Okay.
But the shifting of the mindset is more important, meaning the soldiers now will be preparing their training on external defense.
On external defense. Does that mean that like branches like the Navy will get more priority now than say Army, or will the Air Force?
Yes. Meaning there is no major deployments, but the Air Force and the Navy were directed to really focus on the maritime domain awareness and also maritime patrol.
I see.
And then also to increase their capabilities in order to really defend our territories.
Yeah.
So we are now conducting a series of maritime patrol, meaning, for example, before maybe during the past year, we have only, for example, it's a figurative example.
Yes, sir.
We are doing only 30% maritime patrols. Now we will be doing much higher.
Yes, I was wondering if we can talk about that, because this shift, of course, will require new resources,
Yes,
new
yes,
equipment.
yes.
Where are we at? What is our state of, I would say, I don't know what the term is, but is it the state of preparedness? Is that what you call it? How are we ready for that shift?
Our strategy is really to at least achieve the minimum credible defense force.
Okay.
For now, we are acquiring and modernizing our armed forces.
Okay.
And some of the projects are already in the pipeline. And hopefully, with the strong alliance now with our like-minded countries, they will support us in our modernization. We are very thankful with the Americans and also the Japanese that they help us in modernizing our navies and coast guard. In fact, the Japanese government provided us 10 MRBs. Ito yung tinatawag nating multiple surveillance vehicle.
Okay.
Ito yung ginagamit ng mga boats, ng mga big boats ng ating coast guard. Kung makikita natin yung dito sa oil spill, ito yung mga ginagamit natin na talaga ng panglinis. And these are the equipment that is provided by the Japanese. And recently they provided some equipment like fixed radars to the north. So yun nakita natin na in that case tinutulungan na tayo na mag-modernize. And with the strengthening of our relationship with the US, the US is now committed to us to give yung $100 million. That cost of equipment will enable us to really get itong tatawag namin search and rescue configured helicopters, medium lift helicopters. So yung ganun nakita natin, and we can fast track yung ating modernization through our foreign military sales with the US and also with our diplomatic relations with other countries. We can accelerate yung tinatawag nating modernization program. And even some countries, they provided us some soft loans, meaning sa modernization namin, na 4 years, babayaran mo lang interest, pero i-deliver nila yung equipment. And that's a good tinatawag nating good contract considering front-load na nila yung equipment without necessarily paying for all of it.
Right. Sir, what about support from Congress? Because, I know that we're getting a lot of help, but what kind of parang shift in priorities would you like people in Congress?
I believe with the strong statement of support of the president in his recent visits, and I think considering also with our support with the speaker, Speaker Mualdez, we talk normally to the armed forces. In fact, on last Thursday, we have the Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff and the BISCOM, Visayas Command, has some sort of interaction with the Congress. So doon nagkakaroon ng tinatawag tayo ng consultation. So what are the things that we need? And I believe the Congress and the Senate is very much supportive sa ating modernization program.
Okay.
In fact, nakita natin Senator Tolentino, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Bato, and Senator Bongo, and almost all the senators. They are supporting our modernization program. And I hope with the statement of the President of shifting our forces to territorial defense, I believe this is already some sort of an instruction or maybe a request from the President that the Congress will put more teeth on the budget that we need.
Right, because we can't keep on relying on our friends, or we have to spend on our own, right? But you were saying that we're getting a lot of help from other countries, US, Japan, and can you talk about that? Because what's in the news, of course, is the EDCA, right? And I think one of the statements we've heard was that there were, is it pledges or actual deliveries already of financial aid or equipment? Is there? I know some of these may be difficult to talk to the public, but what can you share with us, sir?
I think with the EDCA, the American government already committed to have $82 million for the construction of the EDCA projects.
Okay.
Aside from that, they have $100 million project for the heavy medium lift helicopters that we might be needing to transport our personnel and also to use sa tinatawag nating human sa disaster relief operations natin.
I see.
Yung humanitarian assistance natin. And we are so happy that they know that our procurement process will take too long.
Okay.
And our allies is putting some assistance in bridging the gap on our modernization program. And the good thing also is that our allies, including Australia and also US, they provided us training. So yun ang nakita natin, ang pinaka-importante kasi sa lahat natin is that human resource hour is the most important thing, important resources that we have. That's why ang gano'n natin yung with the training assistance that they have given to us, the Australian and the US, the mindset of the soldiers, yung preparedness nila to encounter challenges. Nahandun po yun. Kaya yun ang pinakamagandang po namin that with the guidance of the President of changing mindset, we have also the training support being given by the allies.
Right.
At saka maganda po yung just to emphasize the importance of the EDCA. As we all know, US is one of the most modern country, and I visited their camps. And if we will modernize our armed forces, kailangan ma-modernize din natin yung tinatawag na base in our facilities.
Okay.
Because we have some instances na the Navy has been delivered to us, pero wala tayong berthing facilities. This is the reason why that we have to accelerate yung EDCA, because most of these areas are naval bases and Air Force bases, so that we can really prepare when we procure our airplanes and also our modern ships and offshore patrol vessels. We have prepared their basing requirement. So ito yung maganda sa EDCA, and same thing that I believe the Americans will also invest. So ang nakikita natin na these EDCA sites are very strategic. Na nakita natin ito yung these areas can also have yung tinatawag natin collective defense, so that we can protect also the tinatawag na sea lanes of communications and commerce. As we all know, that the commerce that traversing the West Philippine Sea, it is more or less $3 million. And it is our responsibility, the national responsibility, that we have to maintain the freedom of navigation, and also to make the Indo-Pacific safe and free from any interference, and the freedom of navigation is being protected and being promoted.
Sir, does that mean that are you looking at maybe increasing personnel? Kasi you said that the basic thing is changing the mindset, di ba? Is it just a matter of besides changing the mindset, are you going to reassign people to certain areas, or are you looking to expand the armed forces personnel? Meron bang ganong directive na
Ang directive natin is we will still maintain the current force.
Current force. Okay.
Current force. Ang gagawin lang natin is we will rebrand yung mindset nila.
Right.
And at the same time, yung training, kasi yung training lang, orientation is more on internal defense.
Right.
Now we will train them how to defend ourselves on certain areas that we can have yung tinatawag nating minimum deterrent posture.
Yeah. See, in the past, Senator Zubiri was, I think, suggesting that maybe we should have a naval academy, right? But some friends of mine were saying that our number of personnel is not that large, like the US. Parang it doesn't make sense. What do you think of that in the context of this policy shift that you're hearing now from the president?
Actually, during my time as a professor sa PMA, I threw around the different academies of the armed forces of the United States.
Yes.
And I look at the model, the Annapolis.
Yes.
The Annapolis is a Navy, Navy Academy.
Yes.
But it trains Marines, Air Force, at the same time a Navy personnel.
Yes.
And I liken the PMA as a tri-service academy. I think we have enough staff to really have that kind of training. So I suggest that we can adopt the Annapolis model, wherein the Philippine Military Academy is a tri-service academy, that it can train an Air Force guy, a Navy guy, and also a Philippine Army guy. The good thing is that at the early stage of their career, they are closely knitted as brothers and friends.
Right.
So mas maganda po yun kasi mas
Right.
madali po ang coordination.
Right. So there's no rivalry
Yes,
between
yes,
between
yes.
schools
Yes,
are all in
I
one.
think the U.S. and the other countries huge army. I
Mm.
think it's very very cumbersome and very logistically unsustainable for us to
Yes.
maintain a Navy, a Navy Academy and an
Yes.
Air Force Academy, and at the same time Army Academy separately.
Yeah.
So for me, for the meantime, considering that we have some financial constraints,
Yes.
making it a separate Naval and Air Force Academy,
Right.
as we have already here in the Congress, we still maintain that the PMA still can maintain the tri-service architecture.
Yeah. I know you're looking a lot at the U.S. institutions, but it's very different from ours, right? But
Yes.
is there a country that you look at that can be a good model for our Philippine military? I mean, are you looking at Singapore, Australia, maybe, or some other
Yes.
country na magandang would be good for us to look at and maybe learn from?
Yeah, maganda yun. Maganda yung mga ibang countries na napuntahan din namin, and we saw that Singapore is one good model, and also Australia.
Yeah.
And that's why we are looking at the different models, and with this, uh, it's good. It's a good thing that we have a cross training with Australia and also with US, and also now we are beginning with Japan.
Yeah.
I think the good model that we can have maybe is Japan,
Mm.
because they have a strong
Self-defense.
self-defense force, and
Yeah.
considering also their constitution is similar to us, that
Mm.
we renounce as war, and also we considered our forces as a defense force.
Yeah. An outsider looking at the Philippines and all of these changes happening may misinterpret, right, what our reason is. But we're talking a while ago that really the intent is peace. Can you expound on that? Ano? Is are we doing it because you see a real threat of conflict in the future, or you're looking at all of these changes merely for I guess self defense, yeah, sort of our self reliance, right, on on a number of security issues. What's your answer to people looking at the Philippines from the outside, who may feel what, or may ask what's going on? Why is the Philippines doing all of these things?
I think we are very thankful that we have a strong president, and we would like to solidify our positions
Mm.
in really putting our positions with our like-minded countries like the
Yeah.
U.S., Australia, and other countries. So we want to really have some sort of a strong unified call to have a prosperous and peaceful Indo-Pacific.
Mm.
That's our common goal.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted that to be oriented, or to be associated with like-minded countries. That our main objective is really to deter war, and
Yeah.
also to maintain peace, the freedom of navigation, and to maintain peace and prosperous region in the South Pacific region. And that's really our meaning. We need to really solidify our positions,
Yeah.
and also to harmonize our mutual defense treaty with the other countries.
Yeah.
So meaning we wanted to maintain a strong collective defense with our only mutual defense treaty that we had right now, and that's our direction right now in defense, and we wanted to maintain that way so that we can protect our claims as vested by the UNCLOS,
Mm.
and also to really preserve the freedom of our people from fishing from our waters.
Yeah.
Dati talaga na nakita natin na yung mga traditional fishing ground, we saw the Vietnamese, the Chinese, and the Filipino fishermen fishing on the common and Spratlys Island.
Mm.
But now I think that freedom has been lost,
Yeah.
and we want to assert our rights. That the waters that we are fishing before are our waters,
Yeah.
and that's our position right now. That we wanted to protect the rights of our people, especially our fishermen,
Yeah.
to fish on our
Yeah.
waters.
How far do we go, Secretary? Because the president said that he won't yield an inch of territory, but of course, no one wants conflict. You're at the delicate balancing act,
Yes.
right? So what's a practical way to maybe operationalize that statement of the president, to defend what's ours, but at the same time,
Yeah.
right, maintain peace in the region. How can we do that?
When he talked to the soldiers, he said that you should equip yourself with diplomatic balance.
Okay,
So as a military personnel, you should be also.
is that hard for a military person, sir, to
I think
be
it's
to?
not hard
Okay,
because we are used to
okay,
really using diplomacy in order to
okay,
win the hearts and minds of the people. So
okay,
that's why when the president said that, we talked to our senior leaders, and we told them that the guidance of the president is very clear.
mm,
Losing an inch from our territory, meaning we have to protect our
mm,
islands.
mm,
We have to man our islands, and also to protect our seas.
right.
That's why what we are doing right now is we equip our Navy and our Air Force for maritime patrol and
I see.
maritime domain awareness.
I see.
Meaning we need to do aggressively those flights and also those freedom of navigations
Yeah,
in our territorial and our EEZ.
yeah,
So that's very clear to our soldiers. So that's
yeah,
why only few days ago nakita natin, pinalitan natin yung flag doon sa Nabulis Island, the
yeah,
far stretch of our
yeah,
and also I directed also the NOLCOM commander to ship more or less 60 to 80% of its forces
yeah,
to territorial defense.
yeah,
Considering that the insurgents in the NOLCOM area is already some sort of very minimal
yeah,
and negligible. So I told him last Friday to ship his forces more on the territorial defense.
yeah,
So our Marines and our Navy now are being redeployed
yeah,
so that we can really look at the possibility that we can really defend our country 360.
yeah,
And now that's why we mutually decided to have an EDCA sites defending our eastern board and
yeah,
north eastern board of
yeah,
our. So that is the Narciso
right,
Osias Naval Station. This is very very strategic considering that it can also protect our Benham rice.
yeah. Sir, you mentioned protecting the fishermen's rights. Recently, some municipalities in Palawan opened up Pag-asa for tourism. Does that, it's hard enough, diba, to protect the fishermen. Now there's an expectation that maybe there will be more tourists going to these sensitive areas. Does that concern you? Does it make your job complicated? Is that something you want to comment on? Because these are initiatives, it seems like, of the LGUs, right?
Yes, I think the LGUs have the rights to
Yeah.
initiate those things because in initiating those things, it only shows that the Pag-asa Island is part of Palawan, it's a municipality of Palawan,
Right.
and in that case, it will all already ascertain.
Does it make your job more complicated,
No,
or it's part of
no,
the?
I really appreciated
Okay.
the initiative of the local populace
Okay.
because I think
It helps you out.
yes, because it demilitarized
Okay.
our position.
Okay.
So meaning when the LGUs, like for example Congressman Hagedorn, he
Yes.
approached me,
Yes.
and also Congressman Alvarez,
Yes.
I'm very so happy that they have
Yes.
plans
Okay.
to the 9 islands that we are protecting,
Right.
and it's so happy that the collective aspirations
Right.
on really ascertaining our position
Right.
has been already been ang tawag natin to parang nagda downstream na sa kaalaman ng
Yeah.
mga tao, and
Yeah.
we really appreciated the concerns and also the interest of our LGUs
Yeah.
to really protect what is
Yeah.
really ours.
Yeah. You were mentioning earlier, sir, that all of these changes are not meant to address any particular country. But of course, we can't deny China is there. But how do we convey to China that this is not against you, that this is or how do we reassure them so that, because maybe we don't unintentionally escalate the
Yes.
tensions now.
They should understand that we have a mutual defense treaty.
Okay.
U.S. has been with us for so long a time.
Yeah.
And if you look at the MDT principles, it's basically on collective defense
Okay.
and also in preventing wars and maintaining peace and progress in the South Pacific area.
Okay.
And they should know, they should understand our sovereign rights to make friends with our allies.
Yeah.
And it's also our sovereign rights to really choose to whom we can have that kind of arrangement with the treaty. The Americans is training with us. They are
Yeah.
coming here for so long a time,
Yeah.
and we are our alliance is now what we call ironclad.
Right.
And we want to make it that we wanted to rekindle
Yeah.
those brotherhood with the U.S. and
Yeah.
other allies, because as we all know, we are now in the month of the Araw ng Kagitingan Week, and the Veterans Federation Week is very important to us, and we
Yeah.
want to maintain that
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
with other allied countries. I believe we should understand
Yeah.
that we are just associating ourselves to right-minded.
Yeah. But you're still in communication with them, right? Because
I believe yes.
yeah, you still have a line open with your counterparts.
The DFA is doing a very
Okay.
excellent job.
Okay.
They're doing a very excellent job of maintaining a cooperative and engagement with other countries.
Right. Secretary, you have an important meeting coming up, the 2+2. Can you talk about that? What's that meeting about? What do you hope to discuss?
The 2+2 is some sort of high level meeting between myself, Secretary Manalo, Ricky Manalo, and also Secretary Blinken, and also Secretary Austin.
Okay.
For a long
So
time,
Foreign Affairs and Defense.
for Foreign Affairs and State Department.
Yeah.
And also for a long time, we suspended the 2+2. So this is the third
resumption.
the third meeting after 7 years.
Wow.
And the 2+2 is the one that set the directions of our annual Mutual Defense Treaty and Security Board meeting.
Right.
So every year, the MDB-SCB will line up a lot of activities,
Okay.
including joint patrols, joint training, people-to-people engagement, training, joint trainings with the Coast Guard, with the Philippine Navy,
Yeah.
inter-service trainings. These are more or less hundreds of activities that we have to line up every year.
Yes. Yes.
And the 2+2 is the one that is setting direction. And we are setting now a long-term direction, meaning for this administration, for 2028, we need to line up our activities.
This will be in Washington?
Yes, it
Secretary?
will be in Washington, D.C. And first it will be on the Department of State. And then later we will have a bilateral meeting with Austin.
Will there be a major announcement after that meeting? Do you expect
Yes,
anything, or more of a routine meeting?
It's a very significant meeting.
Okay.
I believe for this year, it's more significant because we were able to regain our relationship,
Right.
and we were able to collectively design our future engagement, which is basically we are so glad the Philippine the Defense Department is so glad because the terminology of Austin of modernizing our alliance. That's the point that we are really very excited of. That the modernization of the alliance, meaning we will put our alliance to a more higher position, wherein we can have that kind of collective mutual interest of really defending the country. So yun ang nakita ko na maganda yung namin kasi we have lined up already some sort of almost one whole day activity.
I see.
And the discussion points are very important in terms of the security arrangement with the U.S. and the Philippines, and also the future coalition with Japan, Australia, and other countries.
The AUKUS,
And the AUKUS, yes. In fact, we are one of the countries that really support the AUKUS statement. And since 2021, when Secretary Ted Locsin was still the secretary, we strongly support the AUKUS. And we at the department, we also support the AUKUS because for us, what is good for our allies is also good for us.
Sir, I think right after your 2+2 meeting, you have Balikatan. Can you
We-
talk about that?
yes,
What's new? Is there anything new
The, od-
this particular exercise?
the opening of the Balikatan will be synchronized with the 2+2. So it will happen the same day, April 11,
Okay.
after the Araw ng Kagitingan celebration in Mount Samat.
Yes, sir.
And the Balikatan now is considered as the largest Balikatan we have ever. It will be consist of 12,000 U.S. forces and
12,000, wow.
yes, 12,000 U.S. forces and 5,000 Philippine forces and 111 Australian forces.
Yeah.
This is the first time that the Australian are
Will
getting
join.
involved.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and then we have dozens of foreign military observers, including our 7 ASEAN countries. So ang kagandahan po nito ay nakikita po natin na in the future, not only Australia will be joining the Balikatan.
Could be ASEAN.
It could be partly ASEAN and also Japan and also maybe the other allies can also join the exercise, especially on the Navy to Navy, Air Force to Air Force engagement.
Yeah.
And the Balikatan exercises also will highlight many live fires.
Yeah.
On the ground forces, we will be. They have already exercised live fire exercises with anti-tanks.
Yeah.
And then also we will have a live fire exercise in Zambales.
Yeah. Do you think that's a possibility, Secretary, that maybe we create, maybe not like a NATO alliance, but maybe some security alliance in ASEAN? Is that a possibility? Is there any discussion about that with you and your counterparts, maybe to explore that
Yes.
possibility on more military or security cooperation?
Actually, our security operations, we always maintain the ASEAN centrality.
Okay.
So meaning in our dealing, we always look at the possibility what will be the impact of this alliance with the ASEAN.
Yeah.
So we always tell to our allies that we still maintain a strong
Yeah.
ASEAN centrality, considering that the ASEAN as an economic bloc is also very influential.
Yeah.
And also considering that we are one of the co-founders of the ASEAN,
Yeah.
we wanted not to depart from our ASEAN strong centrality.
Is there discussion on maybe creating an ASEAN security force, or
In
maybe
fact,
for
in fact,
disasters or something
actually,
like that?
we have a very strong trilateral defense cooperations with Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines.
Okay.
I was then the West Wing commander
Okay.
in the South. We have a lot of problems on piracy.
Common
and,
problems, yeah.
Piracy and
Yeah.
kidnapping.
Yeah.
So as we all know, during the kidnapping, Indonesian fishermen fishing in the Malaysian waters are being abducted
Yeah.
by the Abu Sayyaf.
Yeah.
And with the strong trilateral engagement and cooperations with Indonesia and Malaysia, copying the Malacca Strait model.
Yeah.
You all know that Malacca Strait before
Right.
is,
Yeah.
we have a security challenge also there.
Yes. Okay.
So with the strong support also of Singapore in terms of technology, we were able to accomplish what we have to accomplish. So as we
Yeah, joint patrols. I think.
we have a
yeah.
joint patrols. We have some sort of exchange of personnel. So meaning Indonesia and Malaysia has a personnel in Bongao.
Ah.
We have also personnel in Indonesia and Malaysia, so that we can have an early exchange of information. So meaning if we know that there is a threat, that there's a significant threat to Malaysia or Indonesia, we will inform them that most likely we can have that neutralize the threat. And normally we have also a close coordination between commanders. And I told the commanders of Malaysia, we need to do this. And then also we have strong relations with their embassies, and we suggested the freedom of our Muslim brothers to trade freely in Malaysia, and also the freedom of movement of our Indonesian brothers towards Malaysia, and also in Davao. So nakita nila yung maganda yung
That's
relationship natin.
interesting.
So that tripartite agreement really very successful. And then we presented it to our Chief of Defense meeting in Hawaii.
Okay.
And I think the Indo-Pacific commander,
Okay.
Admiral Robert Richardson, was able to see the beauty of a tripartite agreement. And makikita natin, AUKUS,
Yeah.
Quad agreement with the US, India, and Japan.
Yeah.
And the AUKUS. So the meaning, mas maganda yung tripartite at saka yung quadrilateral arrangement, alliance, rather than yung multilateral alliance.
Right. Right.
So nakita nila na mas maganda, mas manageable yung bilateral.
Right.
To be expanded to trilateral and maybe quadrilateral arrangement.
Right. Sir, let me shift gears a bit, and because one other thing in the news was that press conference in Malacanang with Secretary Benjoc, no, talking about the possible reforms in the pension funds of the military, the police, and I think the Bureau of Fire, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's still in the works because it's still going to go to Congress, right? But can you give us an update on how it is developing? Are there any concerns? What are some of the things that you maybe like to maybe share with Congress, because this is going to go to them eventually?
Yes, meron na kaming initial talks in Malacanang, and during the talk, the economic team presented that there will be an impending financial crisis involving our military uniform pensions. And we really acknowledge, the President acknowledged the crisis, the impending crisis. And for that, nakita namin, we requested to the President to buy us more time so that we can consult our stakeholders. Ang gusto namin kasi talaga, when we make decisions, we will consult our pensioners, our active personnel, at saka po talaga na magkaroon tayo ng tinatawag na agreed position.
Okay.
So yun po ang ginagawa po namin kasi it happened also yung nalaman nyo, di ba? There is a controversial RA 11709. We really congratulated and thanked the Congress and the Senate. Na talagang ang ginawa nila, talagang umikot sila Congressman Buboy sa ating defense committee. Talagang inikutan nila yung lahat ng mga units, and they saw the sentiment. And I believe dapat ang namin, I would just like to ask our pensioners and also our senior officers and also our men to observe sobriety, and also nakita natin na yung pronouncement na yun it might be some sort of it really created some emotional response. But looking at the merits of the presentation of the economic team, I think we need really to solve the problem head on. This problem has been lingering during the time of President Aquino. Former Secretary Abad of the DBM already warned us that sabi niya, Charlie, kasi nung nagkaroon kami ng workshop, Charlie, you have an impending crisis wherein the pensioners will balloon over the defense budget, the actual defense budget. And nangyari din yun kay Sir PRD. Secretary Dominguez, in fact, he said to us that we will have a problem later. And if we will not solve it today, we will not solve it in this administration. Maybe ang projections natin, if we will look at the simulation, kasi they have tawag natin accrued science every year. Talagang nag-exponentially increase yun.
Right.
And it's a system dynamics. When the phenomenon, the behavior is exponential, it's gonna blow up. Because yung sinasabi nating volumes na yung upper parameters at saka lower parameters, the boundary, it cannot surpass yung boundary natin to provide the pension system. Ibig sabihin talaga na yung pension is unsustainable. Basically unsustainable because makikita natin nagbabalon yung tinatawag na exponentially, meaning tataas ng tataas, walang tigil and we have to offset that phenomenon. And there are 4 or 5 strategies that the economic team has provided to us.
Okay.
But we believe, sabi nga namin ni Sec Ben-Hur, is that we wanted to really collect yung technical aspect on really having this. Ang recommendation nga namin is considering that also nasa system na analyst, we need to create a boundary. Meaning,
Okay.
ibig sabihin, we have to treat the Armed Forces of the Philippines separately
Okay.
from the police and from the because ang nakita natin is mas madali nating i-manage
I see.
yung pension ng military.
That means separate pension funds for military.
Yes. When I think GSIS agreed kasi
Okay.
yung tinitingnan namin
Okay.
whose agency will be handle the pension
Okay.
fund. Kasi nung previously kasi yung pension fund ng military, it's being handled by RSBS.
Yeah.
But I think alam naman natin kung ano nangyari sa RSBS.
Yeah.
And I think we need to look also some ways to help the national government solve this problem.
Yeah.
And I believe nakikita namin we can solve it. Ang sabi nga namin is we can find ways really to find solutions on how to arrest yung exponential growth ng tinatawag na pension fund natin.
Well, you said you've had consultations, and of course, this is going to go through Congress. What's the latest? Is that going to be what's the time frame?
Sa ngayon kasi yung nangyari sa Malacanang, initial pa lang naman actually. Actually, we have already yung consultation before, mga 2 years ago during the time of Sir PRD.
Yes.
Pero it stopped kasi because of the strong But I believe right now, ang namin is we will go back again and consult all our people. Ang maganda doon is the president is very very much concerned on the welfare of our soldiers.
Right.
Sabi nga niya, tingnan natin Charlie kung ano talaga yung magandang gawin natin if we can give more benefits to our soldiers at saka to our uniform personnel. Tingnan natin. So ang nga namin we have some recommendations.
Okay.
And
is there anything you can share? I mean,
ang nakikita po namin, marami pong mga specialist po tayo. Meron po mga letters kami na natanggap sa AGPO, meron po kami na natanggap sa mga Philippine National Police na position. We will take this very seriously.
Yeah.
Kung makita namin very valid naman po yung kanilang concerns. And what we are doing right now is really to systematize. Kasi kailangan talaga yung system. It should be based on science, financial science. Kasi dapat hindi tayo maging sa emotions. We need to have yung financial science that the livelihood of the kasi mangyayari is kung magkakaroon ng gap yung livelihood ng sundalo, it will become a problem.
Right.
So ang gusto natin is kailangan yung livelihood ng mga sundalo even after the retirement should be taken care of. Kaya nakita namin what happened to Digamo, nakita natin na maraming military yun. Surprisingly, nakita
they
namin.
take on other, kasi may mga pangangailangan.
Yes, kaya nga ang po namin is, yun ang inano namin na this is a social problem that we will be inheriting. Because soldiers, may mga special training yan. And we need to look on ways. Sabi nga namin na, which I think the President agreed, na yung meron tayong tinatawag na placement after retirement.
Right.
So meaning, we must assure that we will take care. Kaya ang ginagawa nga namin sa DND, we are trying to look for ways na yung mga real estate namin, it can earn for our veterans and pensioners.
Okay.
So that we can take care
That's
of
an
all the
interesting
pensioners.
idea. Yeah.
So meron po kaming PBDEC, and the PBDEC is earning 1.2 billion.
Okay.
Binigay po natin yan sa mga veterans and also to our pensioners.
Yeah.
And we have also the Veterans Federation of the Philippines. They are also helping us. So yun ang titingnan namin na mag-create kami ng certain real estate management and also management features that we can also help our pensioners in the future.
What happened, Secretary, correct me if I'm wrong, di ba the BCDA was also meant really to
ang BCDA
raise funds for the modernization and other things that the military need?
Kaya yung namin, yung nakikita nga namin na I think the President is also very supportive to us to protect our productive lands.
Right.
So ang nakikita namin doon is like PBDEC and also yung BCDA is helping the current organization, the Armed Forces and DND, to source yung modernization namin.
Okay.
The PBDEC is also helping us, is a corporation helping us to finance yung veterans sa Memorial Hospital natin and also to finance yung needs ng ating mga veterans and pensioners. Right. So, ang balak namin is magka-create kami yung empowered namin yung mga corporations nito, and when we coordinate with this corporation so that it will earn more money
Right.
and create more, tinatawag natin create more resources that would support the armed forces and its retirees.
Yeah.
So yun po ang ginagawa po namin ngayon sa DND. And then I think maganda po doon is si Congressman Buboy, yung defense natin, Congressman Buboy Tupas, is very much willing to really
To work with you.
to provide a law that will create yung real estate management office sa DND. And with that, nakita namin magiging maganda yung result nito.
Right.
So I would like to allay the fears of our pensioners and also our soldiers that we will always protect yung welfare nila at saka yung tinatawag nating their rights, and really maintaining their livelihood, and also yung talagang well-being nila is talagang protected. And with that, it is a long-standing deliberation pa po to sa Congress.
Yeah.
And I really I have high hopes at saka po high respect sa ating Congress with our Senate President Subiri, and also Speaker of the House Romualdez,
Yeah.
na talagang we will gather the minds so that we can have a final solutions in addressing this MUP problem.
Yes. Sir, yung the law that gave fixed terms to the military, I know that was also being reviewed, di ba? There were some amendments there.
I think
What's the
we have
latest?
already agreed, and I think
Okay.
ang naging result medyo happy po lahat.
Okay.
Kasi one for one, we all agreed na ang ating retirement age is 57.
Okay.
So it gave more space for stability.
Yes. Happy naman po ang mga
Yes, they're very happy because it gave them 1 more year
Okay.
in the service, especially
Okay.
yung mga officers at saka yung mga enlisted personnel natin. So the Congress and the Senate and the President agreed that
Okay.
the retirement age will be 57.
Okay.
Second, ang aton po natin, ang tinatawag natin, yung fixed term, tatanggalin na po natin yung term na yun. Ang gagawin natin
Okay.
is yung tinatawag na extended tenure of service.
Extend tenure.
So, yung Chief of Staff, extended tenure of service na 3 years.
Okay.
At yung major services, yung Chief ng Army, Navy, and Air Force, and also PMA,
Yeah.
they have an extended service of 2 years.
Yeah.
Ang kagandahan din po dito, yung ating generals, the Congress have given us the leeway to manage with 1.25%
Okay.
of the current table of organization and equipment. Meaning,
Okay.
dati po 1% lang.
Right.
Ngayon po 1.25.
Right.
Meaning it will have an additional generals from 160. Baka tataas po tayo ng more than 200.
Right.
And everybody is happy because at least yung pinaghirapan nila na at least karamihan sa natin mga positions natin.
Yes.
Ay mapipila pa na po, lalo-lalo na yung sa brigade, po natin. We experienced na kami po sa Army, brigade po 2 years. Sa Air Force, mga ilang months lang. Pero nakikita po natin there is a disparity. So ngayon, maganda,
I
pantay-pantay
see,
na.
parang
So pantay pa na.
You rationalize it na
rationalize the promotion.
Yeah.
Na mangyari, pag na-designate na po silang brigade,
Yeah.
kasama na po yung promotion if there is a vacancy.
I see.
So, yun ang kagandahan po ngayon. But before, you have to have a long wait of 2 years.
Yeah. Are there any other reforms na siguro nararapat but haven't been taken up na you would like to see from this administration?
Yes, as our forces of the Philippines, I believe the President is very clear that he wanted meritocracy.
Okay.
In fact, he's conveying to me directly and indirectly. Actually, I'm talking with the PSG commander. Ang nakita natin, ang gusto talaga ng Presidente is meritocracy.
Yeah.
He wanted that even as company commanders, gusto niya na the best among the qualified yung mapili natin.
Okay.
And ang niya talaga is meritocracy at saka yung tinatawag na sense of fairness
Right.
in assigning people in key positions.
Yeah.
Ang nakikita namin nga, the President is really, we are very thankful that he is respecting the Board of Generals' recommendation.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I talked to the Board of Generals, and I said to him that the direction of the President is very clear, that we have to only recommend only the best.
Yeah. How do you project the image of the new military today? Because obviously, you said you want the best of the best, no?
Nakita natin ng military, I'm so happy, after the Marawi siege, nakita natin tumaas ang tingin ng tao sa military.
Okay.
And I know that I'm really thanking the Manila Times Kasi
We
during
have
the
that
time,
project that
the
yeah.
project that you have given that to us, and then you
My
know,
father was the one
yes,
who
yes,
that's his brainchild.
is per person of the year,
Yeah.
the Marawi Heroes.
Yeah.
So
Yes, yeah.
very very happy kami nun. And then after that, we maintained that position. And I'm very happy even the Makati Association of the Philippines and other institutions rated the Armed Forces of the Philippines as one of the best organization. And we are very, very happy for that. Normally, nag-rank ang Armed Forces, number one, number two, gano'n.
Okay.
So, we are very happy
Pretty
because
high,
we are part of that.
Yeah.
Lahat ng nagdaan ng mga general, mga chief of staff, and also yung mga officers, to our seniors, we are so happy that we were able to rebuild and also to build the reputations of the Armed Forces of the Philippines as we have now. Ano nga, nakakatuwa nga kasi minsan narinig namin comment ating mahal na presidente na talagang bilib siya sa military, especially yung nangyayari ngayon. We were able to solve the Gamo case na the military helped so much to the PNP na talagang yung 11 na suspects nakuha natin.
Yeah.
And all the things that the military is doing is really talagang to serve our country, to protect our people, and protect the state.
Yeah.
And I'm happy and I'm very fortunate that I was given the chance by the President to lead the DND and the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
We're talking about, projecting an image of the military. ROTC,
Yes.
are you, what are your thoughts there? Or maybe should we look at, you mentioned Singapore. Singapore has a mandatory
Yes, mandatory service.
mandatory service.
Yes.
Is that something that we should look at?
Yes, I think nakikita natin, dapat hindi tayo magreklamo kung mag-ROTC tayo kasi most of the countries, even Norway, peaceful countries.
Yeah.
They
have
prepared,
mandatory,
they're prepared their people to serve the military.
Yeah.
Sa atin, ito tawag natin ROTC lang to,
Yeah.
sa
Yeah.
training sa school, part na natin. Pero as per experience, nakita natin nung tayo nag-high school, tayo ng CAT. Doon ako nagkaroon ng perspective na go to the military because I was inspired
I see.
by the ROTC program. And I believe tama ang ating presidente, ang ating vice president, at saka sila Senator Tolentino. Nakita ko na very passionate on really pushing for the ROTC. And I believe if you look at the history of the World War II and nakita natin na karamihan doon mga ROTC hunters. Mga graduate ng tinatawag nating mga reservists at saka graduate ng ROTC.
Yeah.
And when we provided yung gold medal award to them, I took pride na itong mga na-award natin 100 years nakatayo pa and also talagang lumalakad pa. And interestingly to note na most of them are ROTC, product of the ROTC. So kaya ngayon ang gagawin nga namin ngayon, meron kaming ROTC games na pinopropagate si Senator Tolentino.
That's interesting.
Yung ROTC games is talagang
intramurals.
Intramurals ng lahat from local, regional to national. Magkakaroon tayo ng ROTC games. And it's being funded by Senator Tolentino sa amin. And nakita namin na maganda yung bigyan result. And nakikita natin yung sa ROTC program natin, we saw that yung PMA graduate, may certain percentage lang yan .
Yeah.
Karamihan ng ating mga reserve, majority of our reserve, kasi yung sa amin, we are only siguro 30% ng officer corps are PMAers. But the majority of the backbone of the armed forces are the NCOs and also the ROTC graduates. That's why we wanted to propagate that the other source of our leadership will be coming from the ROTC and the OCS, the Officer Candidate School.
Yeah.
So yun ang namin, ang project namin, so that the people will also learn how to prepare to fight. At the same time, nakita namin yung love of country at saka yung passion to serve people, nandun .
Yeah. Do you think it's time na magkaroon na rin tayo ng mandatory service? What do you think? What's your sense na?
During the series of Senate hearing, serving our country should be mandatory.
Okay.
Kung maging optional ang ROTC, parang optional din yung serving our country.
Yeah.
And I believe this is our push na talagang gawin nating mandatory yung ROTC because it is a other kind of training.
Yeah.
It's more on experiential learning.
Yeah.
Kasi naging professor din ako sa PMA and also
Yes.
sa advanced school sa Philippine Army. Ang pinaka-importante talaga na is yung experiential learning.
Yeah. Hands-on.
Hands-on talaga. And then, doon sa ROTC, karamihan doon more hands-on.
Yeah.
And I believe, lalo na ngayon, more activity, more experiential learning to our new generation, mas maganda. Kasi it can build also relations. It can build character. ROTC will build, ang ano niya is more on character.
Yeah.
Character building is very important to leadership.
Well, good luck, Secretary. I hope you are successful. If there's anything we can do to help you out, please let us know.
Yes. Thank you to Manila Times for giving us the opportunity to really, to Manila Times TV, to really give this opportunity to tell our people what we are doing right now. And one defense team will always be here to really to serve our people and protect our state.
Salamat po. Sir, we'll call you after 2+2, get an update.
Yes, thank you po.
Okay.
Thank you po. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, sir.
Thank you.